Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to another episode of Stories Around Azeroth. I am the man, the Grinch, the legend, one Titan's Creed. And joining me today, as always, is a gnome who is way too ready, too early for Winter's Veil himself, one Mr. Frazley. How are you, sir?
I'm doing awesome. I've got all the music ready to go after Winter's Veil. So once Pokemon's Battle was over, I was like, get the music out, get all the decorations out, and just kind of have some fun. And in fact, now the lights are set. So I'm wearing my ugly Winter Veil
Gaudy
sweater.
Christmas sweater. Yeah, I see that.
Yep.
And, I appreciate the fact that you've waited until December. I appreciate that.
I start then, and then the day after Winter's Veil happens on December 25th, everything goes back into the closet and for the next year. So that's my promise. You will see it.
Wait, when do you consider the end of Winter's Veil?
For me, it's typically December 26th, because after that, it's like you have all the presents and festivities. Because I celebrate the real world holiday of Christmas. So for me, it's done after the 26th. Now,
so basically, the minute December 27th is there, you don't want to hear any more of those Christmas songs or anything else.
Exactly. Just be like, it's all done. Put it away, because then it's no longer Christmas, and it no longer feels like Christmas anymore after that.
That's fair enough. Ladies and gentlemen, you get this bonus, very Winter's Veil looking gnome if you're catching us live on Twitch, or if you're catching the VOD over on YouTube. If you're listening to the podcast, thank you very much for joining us anyway. You just get to avoid looking at our faces for the next 30 to 50 minutes. It's all good. Mr. Frazley, what have you done in the wonderful world of Azeroth? Tell me your stories.
Well, in World of Warcraft, I finally this year wanted to get the Pilgrim's Bounty achievement, because I'm working on that Violet Prototype. So I went around to all the different horde areas, and I went there and sat at their tables, and no one killed me, surprisingly. They all were like, hey, you can sit at our table. And then I left. So I did that. I got my gnome with Michael up to level 70.
Oh, blimey.
And we are getting closer and closer to being done with Northrend, which is really weird. So at some point, I don't know where we're going to head into next.
I think you can stay in Northrend till 80, though, now, can't you? With the way the leveling changes are?
As long as we don't finish all of the content. That's what we're looking at, is like, if we're trying to see if we finish all the content of Northrend. Because on some alts I've done, I finished Northrend, then I'm ready on going to the next one.
So how far have you and Michael got through on the Genome project in Northrend?
I think we're in the Borean Tundra now.
Yeah, but is that not where you started? Did you start in Howling Ford?
Yeah, I think we started in Howling Fjord.
Okay.
I know we've done Grizzly Hills, because I did the poop quest in that.
I forgot about that one. Normally I'm
one.
done by the time I level in Borean Tundra, but I digress. What else have you done this week?
Not a lot on WoW stuff, because I'm leaving, so this past week I've had to do a little bit of extra work to get things ready to go. So while I'm gone, there's still content coming at you, just not in streams and stuff like that.
He's been a busy podcasting gnome. He's giving you all of, like, I swear, if he had the ability to do it, he'd make an advent calendar of gnome podcasts, and you get a podcast every day of the year if you had, every day of the month if you had a chance.
Yes. In fact, we just finished NAPOD POMO, which is National Podcast Post Month, and the reason I did not do it is, with all podcasts I do, I don't want to add another podcast to do.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. Yeah. Jesus, such a laundry list of stuff. I've just been on the back burner at the moment. I'm literally waiting until January for the content to kick in, but I've managed to I got about an hour or two of leveling time in on my Death Knight. I haven't had a chance to try out Alterac Valley of Old and get that mount yet. I might do that after the show today, or at some point in the next week, and try and get just the daily cycling through it just to get the mount done.
Yeah.
But otherwise, a lot of my time is still chasing that one missing music disc from Mechagon.
So one day it'll be music to your ears, but until then...
One day it'll be Mechagon no more.
until you roll your Mechanome, then you'll be back there again.
Not for a while. I've got to level it first.
Oh, that's true. Yes. Well, I'm meaning the starting areas inside of Mechagon, and then, but like all the LA starting areas are just like you're there, then you're gone.
I have seen that the unlock allied race quests for both the Mechanomes and the Volpira are quite interesting. The Volpira ones, without spoiling too much, the Volpira ones look really good, and the Mechanome one kind of ties up a storyline.
Nice.
So it's pretty interesting to see those. I think you'll enjoy them when they're available.
I'm excited because...
No, go ahead.
Because I want another alt level, and I've been looking forward to the Volpira and the Mechanomes.
Oh, you need to do the Mechanome as your Iron Man, so that instead of when you die, people going R.I.P., they can just go rest in pieces because you'll just fall apart every time you die.
Ah, I like that.
You could change it up a little more and go rust in pieces, but that'd be even better.
Rust in pieces.
Rust in pieces. Oh boy, it's been a turbulent week within the Warcraft community this week, as a lot of people talk about what can and cannot be considered data mining / leaks. We are not going to get into that today. If you want to look for that sort of thing, you can. Frazley and I have had a small discussion around it pretty much the day after it. I saw the information the night it came out, and I kind of knew shit was going to hit the fan. But we have decided not to talk about it, not to speculate about it or anything else. If you are interested, all the information is out there on the internet, and you are more than welcome to go and discover such information as you did. It's one of those weird things I find as I personally have sidelined more into podcasting for the game for fun, and it's something I want to talk about a little bit more. You find yourself wanting to talk about the news, and when such a juicy bit of news like that comes along, you've got to make the choice of, do you talk about it or do you avoid it?
Yeah, and I think one reason why personally I don't want to talk is, like, I actually wish I'd not ever seen the news. Seeing it ruined it for me, and I wish I had not seen it at all. I looked at it, it's one of those, it's there, and you look at it and you're like, wish I had not, because, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things. But, yeah. Before anybody decides if we're going to be talking about that tonight, we are not. So
yeah, we're not.
There are no spoilers, no leaks, no data mines, none of anything else. But in saying that, has anything crossed your mind this week, Mr. Frazley? Is there anything that you would like to talk about?
Oh, that's a good question, because we are still kind of in a lull period, especially because, like, employees have gone off to be with their families this week if they're celebrating Thanksgiving. I mean, there's not been a lot that I've seen.
I mean, we are in that period where there's going to be data mining for 8.3 that's going to continue. There's going to be a lot of looking at how corruption changes are happening as the PTR evolves for 8.3. There's still more Warcraft 3 Reforged models to come through and everything else. And, it's not exactly Warcraft news, but Deathwing in Heroes of the Storm has hit the PTR as well. But it's more 8.3, so I was wondering if there was anything that you wanted to talk about specifically. Like, there's not a lot on the Shadowlands or anything else. I mean, I'm interested in how the Mythic Plus changes are going to work in 8.3, with the fact that instead of having a chance to Titan Forge to get that good gear, those highest, if you can run those level 15 keys, are going to give you mythic level gear, which isn't going to happen straight off the bat, but you'll get your gear that's heroic level, you do your heroic raids, and then you can slowly work into those heroic mythic level keys. What was your thought on that? I know you're someone that doesn't raid, and you don't really do Mythic Plus for gear or anything else, but
I do like that they're getting rid of the grinds, and it is nice that you'll be able to get gear without having to raid. Because I think it's nice that, especially with the Mythic Dungeon Invitational being such a, is it? No, it's the Mythic Dungeon International now. Yes. But the fact that they're making that an esport thing, you really could decide if you didn't want to raid, you could just do Mythic Pluses. And I have been on Mythic Pluses with Capo this expansion.
How have you found them?
I'm trying to remember if Capo carried me. I think he in the group did. So, I mean, it was one of those, I had to watch what I was doing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I do like having that time trial. I don't do it a lot, but in Legion, when I did those, I enjoyed them, and I had fun when I was doing those.
As someone that got Realm First challenge modes in Mists, and we did them quite fast in Warlords, I can say that the Mists and Warlord ones felt a lot better than the current Mythic Plus ones do now. Don't get me wrong, I think it's because it was more of a challenge than the allure of gear. But when it comes to Mythic Plus, it's nice to have an alternate version to get gear.
Yeah.
Like to raiding. So I completely get that. It's where the game should be. There should be multiple points for you to get stuff to do.
Yes, I think where I think BFA has fallen, and I agree, there's too much of a fear of missing out on loot that you don't know, should I do this? Should I do this? Should I do this? Should I do this? Because you can't just focus on one thing for gear, because you're afraid if I don't focus on this, then I'm going to miss this gear over here. And that has definitely been one that I know people like, should I do the rating? Should I do the Mythic Plus? Should I do the PvE? Should I do the PvP?
Yeah, I mean, there are so many different things in the game for people to enjoy at max level. But after doing a lot of PvP this expansion, quite the recent season, like, it feels like you've got to do too much, like, and you don't get that reward in time. And even then, the elite gear is just a transmog looking set. It's not like a gear drop, and the gear evolves over time from, in terms of item level from your conquest box. So essentially, if you want the best gear, you have to do Mythic straight off the bat, and that was like that plateau. And then
yeah,
it's very odd, but it's nice to see something else. But the question will then become, will there be something for the hardcore PvPers that will then also give them Mythic level-esque loot?
Yeah, because I'm going to say this without knowing all the ramifications of this, but I think you should be able to play the type of mode you want the best, and within reason, get good gear. That, like, if you want to raid and be on a raid team, you shouldn't need to do Mythic Pluses in between to get stuff. You should be able to just raid. But if you want to just do Mythic Pluses, because a raid team versus a Mythic Plus team, there are differences in either you want to be with a close knit of friends, or you want to be with a bigger group of friends, or if you love PvPing, I think you should be able to get loot however you like playing the game.
I think the difference becomes where, for Mythic Plus, you can, if you wanted, say, the highest level you could get from Mythic Plus as a baseline, you could literally run a plus 10, not finish it in time, and you'll still have that high item level item in your box.
Okay.
And the same will probably be with the level 15 as well, when 8.3 rolls around. So I could run a 15, even though I don't have the gear for it. As long as I finish the dungeon, it doesn't have to be in time. But with Mythic raiding, you have to kill the boss to get the loot.
I could see that, yeah. There's no guarantee that you're going to get anything from when you run. I've seen enough raid teams that have wiped on boss after boss, and you're like, why do it if you're going to keep wiping?
I think that's it, and I think that's where a small problem might lie with that system, especially without. I mean, obviously there'll be a week's border on 8.3 until the Mythic raids open before you can get Mythic level gear, because otherwise that would be insane, and that would be all you'll have the world first raiders doing is just doing plus 15 Mythic Plus keys before Mythic dungeons open, just to get the gear to get in there. I mean, that's not to say they won't be doing heroic level stuff anyway to get gear to get in there after their one raid a week, so because they'll clear it pretty quickly, I imagine. But
yeah,
I'll tell you what, that is something I am looking forward to again, is the next race to world first in 8.3. I think Nyalotha, from what I've seen of it, looks like it's going to be really fun to watch.
And with those nice sets, I still love the camera work and the tech behind the race for world first. I mean, the race itself is fun, but I love all the behind the scenes, like those cool sets that they put together, the commentary.
Yeah.
That part is fun for me to watch.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's why I'm drawn more to the method side of the stuff, because it'll have some of my favourite commentators. I hope they've learned from a lot of the stuff that they've done and the mistakes and everything else. I agree, not all content is for everybody. That's going to be the thing. And some casters are going to appeal more to others than they are some. But I just hope that they is in just improvements on the way that they do things and everything else.
And it was cool at BlizzCon. I saw someone wearing the Method shirt, the one that they put out when they were betting on winning. And I saw that. I was tempted to buy one of those because they looked really cool. And seeing one in person, I was like, "That's the shirt I saw online."
That's really cool.
I hope they do that again, because I liked the back and forth, and I thought it was a pretty friendly competition. I mean, some of the chatters made it a little bit more toxic. But I think that the teams themselves, they were having fun, and they were doing that. You know, kind of like in Ohio, we have Michigan versus Ohio. And for the most part, it's pretty much we're having fun, but it can get pretty nasty with us.
For the most part, it's friendly banter until it's not. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think the situation was made more toxic by people chatting, but that's what adds the competitive element to it. It's the thing that they're trying to do is make it like a competitive sport where it's first across the line and everything else. And you get that because of the people that are watching the event more than others and everything else that runs to it. So it's definitely interesting. I don't know. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to all the purple I'm going to see in the next.
Yeah.
For 6
Isn't
months.
it weird? We did not like the green, and then I think we got brown in BFA.
We had a lot of brown in Warlords.
Okay, well, and then green it was definitely part of Legion.
Yep.
And then BFA was.
No, Legion was very varied on the colours. It was very red for Nightmare. It was very purple hue for the Nighthold. It was very green in Tomb, and it was very, very green on Argus. But then it switched to some dark reds and then a full set of colour for Argus itself. So
and now back to purple again, which I mean, purple's not a bad color.
I mean, it's not a bad color. It's not bad on the eyes. It's just when you see too much of it, like it's a little bit too much. Like all of December is going to be very red and white, and you're going to see a lot of that. So if it gets too much, it gets too much. But it'll be interesting. I don't know. There's a lot of things. Have you looked into 8.3 stuff? Are you going to delve into stuff outside of Allied Races and that?
Absolutely. I'm planning to do the horrific visions and stuff like that because I like that it's soloable or with groups. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I've heard a little bit about it that like you have to wait for the attacks on the places to go. So there is, unless I'm hearing it wrong, there is some time gating the same way we had with Warfronts.
So it looks like the invasions will be up over the course of a week. Like they'll be up for the whole week. It's not like current invasions where they're up for 7 hours at a time every 12 hours. So you have a whole week. There's a bar to fill. And as the PTR has gone on and on, the ways to fill those bars have just improved over time. So you'll have different daily quests and world quests in the area, bits and pieces. But if you don't want to do that, then there are rares you can target and there are small events in that corrupted area to do. It looks like the first thing we're going to have to do is a big storyline in order to get the legendary cloak first. I'm trying to be as spoiler free as possible for those people who haven't been watching the PTR. But yeah, that looks like it's going to be the major thing to do first. But I think this is why the invasions are going to be up like pretty much for the entirety of the week, so it allows people to jump in as they is. If it's anything like how I did my Azeroth grind when it used to be that, like I would literally just log in for an hour a day, go around and do all the Azeroth World Tour. You probably remember me mentioning it like ages ago. And I could probably just log on for an hour and go and do some invasion stuff and call it a day.
I'm looking forward to that, and I like that it's content that's going to vary it up. I like that when the game gets different things, and it's why I like the holidays
Yeah.
in the game, because it gets rid of the monotony of
Yeah, adds a little bit of flavour and change. I absolutely get that. Absolutely. 100%.
It makes it feel like a living world too.
Yeah, I get that. And I think, especially for the first couple of weeks, it's going to make those two zones feel really, really busy and alive.
Yeah.
So, I think compared to the time as it drags on a little bit later, it'll feel a little bit less.
And I think what excites me too is the hope that eventually, in addition to the Eternal Veil, we'll get more and more zones restored to their former glory.
What other zones would you like to see?
Dark Shore, definitely.
That's not going to get touched at all.
Westfall?
Maybe.
Even, I would love a redone Elwyn Forest. Get rid of those low polygon trees.
I mean, you say low polygon trees. Have you ever... when was the last time you took the flight point to the Isle of Quel'Danas and looked at the trees on those islands? Have you got the legendary bow from Sunwell?
No.
You probably should do that, because soon, if you have a hunter, you'll be able to transmog into it.
Okay, I should go do that.
I need to start doing Molten Core again on my alts that can wield Sulfurous and Thunder Fury, because those are the only legendaries in the game I do not own.
Yeah, I need to do that as well, because I'm like, I have on one character, I think it's my monk, I've got half of Thunder Fury, though he can't wield it, so it doesn't work.
Yes, I see that. Yeah. No, monks can wield swords.
They can?
Yeah, monks can wield swords. So you can get Thunder Fury on your monk, but you just won't be able to get Sulfurous, because I don't think they can use two-handed maces. Okay. So if the eye drops for your monk, then you won't be able to. There's no point crafting the mace, the Sulfurian hammer.
I gotta look at what he has then, because I know
I have
he
a
has
binding
one
with my
half
monk
of it
as well. But the thing that amuses me the most is I remember when they first put in Time Walk in Black Temple, and if you already own the Warglaives on your account and you beat Illidan there, the Demon Hunters got a special transmog item to use the Warglaives. And now, in the next patch, they're making the Warglaives just transmoggable anyway. But because anyone with swords can use them... So, because monks can use swords, monks should be able to transmog into the Warglaives.
Ooh, so now we're going to have a bunch of tiny Illidans running around.
I imagine you're going to see a lot of Thunder Furies. I imagine you're going to see a lot of Warglaives in 8.3. It's a shame that there's a different model for... Because obviously they did a new Sulfurous for Firelands, and that's a different model that they've got there. So, but it's... Obviously you can use your low polygon Sulfurous if you really want to. Oh, I can use Valinir. Oh, the nice hammer from Ulduar.
Okay, yes.
That's going to be fun. I think that...
You had to hammer it home to me.
Oh my god. A Mechanome with Valinir. So you'll have... Because if you see like the special effect on Valinir where you get a little part and it's like a little ship that just orbits Valinir and then parks itself back in it again. It looks very...
No!
Have you got Valinir on your account?
No, that's one I should work on, because I can get more.
Well, Valinir is good, because Valinir is a legendary that you can get, but it depends on how fast you want to do the content on Heroic Ulduar. Because if you do the hard mode, you get more. If you don't do the hard mode, you get less. But then once you do it, you've just got to feed it. You don't even need to do... Yeah. It's fun. Valinir is a nice little thing, but I like the idea of a Mechanome with Valinir.
I just added that to my Wowhead favorites, so I can work on that.
Have a look at it. Yeah, no, I need to start doing Molten Core, but there's only so much time in the week, you know?
Yes. And like when you have other games that you're playing, like killing parents in an alternate dimension. I
mean, the only real game I'm other playing is just the other Let's Race series that I'm doing on Twitch, like once a week. Which is fun, which I'm in the middle of editing for YouTube at the moment, but that's not Warcraft.
Yeah, it's not Warcraft. I mean, it's what's taking my time sometimes is the other games like Outer Worlds and stuff like that. I did not buy anything. No, actually, I did buy Civ 6. No. Anyway, yes.
It's going to be interesting, Shadowlands and everything else. I'm looking forward to the Mythic Plus changes that they put in there as well, with the ability to choose from a selection of bits and pieces of loot. I hope it's... What I'd like to see is a little bit more freedom in what we can do. So, like, if I want to turn around and say, you're going to give me 3 bits of loot, allow me to choose from these areas. Like, I need better shoulders, I need a better belt, and I need better braces. So let those be the 3 things I can get a choice of to drop.
Yeah.
If we get emissaries, I hope we can choose to target a specific area that we want to do. So we can choose to do a specific reputation first and not just play the emissary roulette, depending on what order they go in. That'd be nice. Although it might just be you'll gain more reputation with your faction thing. I can't remember the name of it. It is called the Covenant. You might just gain more reputation with your Covenant as you do more stuff there, and then you'll just get more reputation. You'll get some reputation with the other Covenants that you're doing in the world quests in the zone, therefore. I don't know. It'll be interesting. Any thoughts, my friend?
I mean, if you wanted to hear directly from Blizzard, some more stuff going on in Shadowlands, they did just put a bunch of What's Next panels for free on YouTube.
Oh yeah, all of the stuff from BlizzCon, yeah.
Yeah, because they've uploaded the Diablo, Warcraft, Hearthstone, and Overwatch What's Next panels, and so these are free on YouTube. They're going to live on past the virtual ticket, which I think is a pretty cool thing to do. I saw the What's Next panel and I really liked it of Warcraft. I still need to watch the other ones, but I like that they are giving those for free because it helps get the information out there, and
it gives a little bit more context for people who didn't want to buy the virtual ticket other than just reading Wowhead or MMO Champion or any other sites that have written down the information.
And you'll hear me on the Warcraft one because when they're talking about Teldrassil, there's some cheering. But Allie and I started going boo, and the whole audience just starts going boo. So I'm in the What's Next panel.
Did you actually go and find it?
Yes.
Jesus Christ. Oh my goodness.
So you won't hear me in particular, but you'll hear me as part of the audience.
It's not a problem.
So, yes.
You're on holiday for the next couple of weeks, aren't you, my friend? Are
Yep,
you taking a laptop or anything with you to do some gaming while you're away?
I won't be able to do gaming because of different things, and I'm also just kind of enjoy where I'm at. So I'm kind of taking a reprieve. I will be doing a little bit of editing for a few things. There's a few things I still gotta do it work wise, but other than that, taking like a Kindle on my phone and I'm gonna read some books, and there won't even be Warcraft books or gaming books. I'm just gonna kind of read.
Just read.
Yeah, because I figured.
Will you still have the internet? I need my daily picture of Frazley up on your Discord.
Sadly, when I'm in Hawaii, I may be able to do some pictures there. So we'll see.
You have a very hot Christmas then, yeah?
Yep, a very hot Christmas. I'm taking Hawaiian shirts and polo shirts.
Brilliant stuff. While Mr. Frazley is away, the Titans Creed will play. The podcast will continue. We will have a guest. He has guested on... When we did the classic Warcraft episode, it was one Mr. Acid Tears. He will be joining us again in Mr. Frazley's stead. So the shows will continue. Hopefully we won't break this weekly streak, even if they just move around. I think we might be moving around a couple of days over the festive period anyway. But we will try to get out the show on the normal Wednesday slot for those of you not joining us live or everything else. We shall see how it goes. I think we did it where there was a show we did on the Tuesday night once, wasn't there? And I managed to get it out on the Wednesday.
You are amazing. I applaud you on that.
It was exhausting. I was very, very tired.
I don't blame you. I've done a turnaround, not quite 12 hours like you did, but I've done a quick turnaround before. Friday shows for me kill me. Heading into.
I can imagine. It's not too bad now. We've got the perfect settings on stream stuff, so I can pretty much just take the audio straight from there and just put it in there properly. But it's a little bit fun. As we talked about content creators last week, it's it's one of those things. You got to be ready to take what you've made and just turn it into something.
Yes.
I'm just looking forward to the festive period of these night shifts for me to end in a couple of weeks, so I can actually get back to streaming on a regular occasion again. Because that will be cool. But yes, I think we're going to end there. There's only a small things to say, and yeah, we'll get going. Thank you very much for watching us live, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us. If you didn't catch us live, which you can catch over on youtube.com/Project Phoenix Productions, or you'll be able to catch on all good podcast places on Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. in the UK, which is 11:30 a.m. in Europe. And what time would that be? It's like 3 a.m. on the East Coast, I want to say.
Yeah, because typically when you put these out there, I'm like, I'm just woken up and I'm like, okay, retweet.
Yeah, it's like I think it's like 3 a.m. on the East Coast and about 1 a.m. on the West Coast. So it's there for your breakfast listening.
Yes, and I've heard that that's actually a very important thing. I always know when I get my show out there, and my shows will still continue as well during the break. So
yep.
you won't be able to escape me. So
That's
as much as you might want to try.
No, who would want to do that? We need. I want to see. I want to see a different. I want to have an advent calendar of Frazley. Like I want to see a different picture of Frazley every day on Discord.
I could do that. Not this year because I'm going to be gone.
Oh no, absolutely. But you can plan that out another day. Mr. Frazley, speaking of you, where can they find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at FrazleyTastic. Every week talking with awesome people from Azeroth at gnomepodcast.com. And on the Twitches, where I will be being festive at gnome.live.
Exactly. Other than the places you found, I've mentioned earlier on, ladies and gentlemen, our Twitters are literally just above us in the names on the video itself. You can find me at Titan Screen. You can find Frazley at FrazleyTastic. Thank you very much for joining us for another episode of Stories Around Azeroth. From me, the Grinch, and from the festive gnome himself. We will see you next time, ladies and gentlemen. But, as Mr. Frazley always likes to say,
be awesome and merry, and to all a good night.